Listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to RAS Media's Agent Webinar Series. It's an unbelievable event we have planned for you today, and we're excited for you to be here. We have social media mysteries and magic, and the message is to stop faking it and start closing real business. One of my favorite lines is, no more fake work. I'm Verl Workman, founder and CEO of Workman Success Systems. I'm going to be the moderator for today's call, and I'm excited and honored at the opportunity to have such esteemed and powerful guests with us here today. These webinar series events that are put on by RIS Media are not only empowering and impactful, but they are consistently bring incredible value to everybody that participates. We encourage all of you to stay tuned until the very end. Each time of these awesome guests on these webinars, they always are gracious in sharing with us true, real content, things that you can use in your business going forward, and today is no exception. So at the end of the webinar today, I'm going to give you a link where you can go down and download those free gifts. You got to know that I get up every morning and I say to myself, you know what, is this really my life? Because I just love what I do, and I love what I do because I get to interview and spend so much of my valuable time just learning from people who are so passionate about life. And Judy and Terri are both two of those people. Some of the gifts we're going to give away at the end of the call today include Judy Crockett's disc and seller information sheet that she uses, which is phenomenal, a copy of all of our presentation notes, and Terri Murphy's new ebook on how to be red hot in any market. So stay tuned for that. Now, we couldn't put these great webinars on if we didn't have great sponsors, and we have a phenomenal sponsor once again, and we are very appreciative of Brett Johnson, who's the business development advisor for RIS Media's Content Solutions. And not only do they have great content, but they're making it easy for us as agents to just look better. They help us become true experts. Brett, thanks again for your sponsorship of the webinar today. Give us a quick idea of what we can do in our business to increase the value of our relationship with our consumers using your tools.
Yeah, thanks, Verl. Happy to be here. Again, just want to welcome everyone, say that we are extremely happy to be sponsoring this webinar today. And as Verl mentioned, I'm just going to provide a quick overview today about RIS Media's Content Solutions platform. So RIS Media Content Solutions is the real estate industry's leading source for quality content for broker, agent, MLS websites, blogs, and newsletters. And it offers an easy-to-use content and marketing platform that connects you with your sphere and helps them stand apart among consumers. And we understand that you have very busy days. Your time is extremely valuable, and that makes it difficult to consistently stay in touch with your clients. So let us help you with that. We have over 12,000 articles, hundreds of videos, newsletters, email drip campaigns, press releases, and more. So we absolutely encourage all of you to take a look at what our Content Solutions packages have to offer. You can visit our site, which is www.rismediacontentsolutions.com. And just to make sure everyone is aware, our Content Solutions programs are offered for each individual agent and are also available for the broker, MLS, or association. And today, for all of our webinar attendees, we are offering a 20% discount on any of our a la carte assets or our bundled packages as well. Simply enter the coupon code RISWebinar, that's RISWebinar, when signing up on our site. And for those of you who have any questions or would like any further information on Content Solutions, I can be reached directly at djohnson@rismedia.com. And again, this is just a great source for content. So I do thank you all again for your time, and I'll be happy to send it back over to Verl.
Thank you, and thanks again for being here. And what I can tell you is I just encourage all of you to not only look at what RIS Media offers, but think of them as your partner in content. As we talk about social media here today, one of the things you're going to learn is how important it is to establish yourself as a true expert in the business. And so thanks again for being here, and make sure that you take advantage of the opportunities that are presented. And I want to jump right in. Everybody, I want you to check on the left side of your seat, check on the right side of your seat, and see if you have a couple of straps. because it's going to be important that you buckle in and you strap in for today's session. When I had the opportunity to interview Judy Crockett recently for this webinar, she and I began talking, and it was apparent really quick that we could spend a couple of hours just talking about what works in real estate. Judy Crockett is not only one of the great individuals in real estate, but she has so much experience. She's one of the true givers. There's a lot of people out there who, they generate a big business and they feel like they've done it all on their own, but Judy is so quick to give credit to not only her husband or her children that are involved with her business, but the agents that are involved and all of the people that have influenced her career. She's one of the true givers, and it's an honor to have her with us on the call today. So, Judy, thank you so much for being here, and let me tell them a little bit about you. So Judy started her career in 1978. She's a past Howard Brinton Star Power star, which if you don't know Howard Brinton, you don't know what that means. Just that if all she said was past Howard Brinton star, we could finish the introduction, because those who knew Howard and those who knew what it means to be a star would understand what that credibility means. But that means that she was willing to give and share and was one of the top performers at the time when she went through that program with Howard. She formed the Crockett team in 1994 with her husband, David, who's also awesome, her son Todd, and her daughter Melissa. She's been a senior instructor for Star Power University, ranked in the top 100 realtors in the country by Wall Street Journal, number 38, which is just a massive accomplishment. She's the #1 real estate team in the state of Ohio and #1 in the fast-growing, exceptional business, Howard Hanna. I've had the opportunity to speak to Howard Hanna folks, and I'll tell you, not only do they put on a great conference, but they have an incredible culture. Judy, what's your experience been like with Howard Hanna? I've just had nothing but rave things to say about them. Judy, can you hear me? Well, let's see. So Judy's here. She's not muted, but I can't hear her. So while she's doing that, let me kind of break down her team and see if she can. Judy, if you come on and you're able to hear me, please just speak up.
I can hear you. Nothing's maybe there.
Now I can hear you. There she is.
Okay,
Hi, Judy.
Good. Okay, good. Oh, good. I'm hoping you can hear me. Anyhow, I love Howard Hanna. They've been great with me. They're a family team, which I love. They walk the talk. I'm one of these people. I've been with same company for 37 years. I started with my camera company, and then Howard Hanna bought them out, and it's been a wonderful win-win for both of us.
I love that. When I put your team up here, I'm just going to kind of go through it real quick. So your husband's involved in your business as your partner, your son is a partner, and then you have 12 realtors. Now, what's interesting about your team is that each of the agents on your team both list and sell. You don't differentiate buyer's agents versus listing.
Correct. Yeah, a long time ago we used to buyer agents, but I think that's a thing of the past anymore. And most of the teams that we coach with all over the United States now allow them to do both.
Interesting. And so to do the number of transactions in 2014, over 400 transaction sites, you're able to do that with 3 full-time assistants and 2 part-time administrative help. Is that right?
Yes, with systems in place. We learned systems a long time ago, and we do have the systems and checklists for everything. And all of our admin people, we consider them to be CEOs of their own position, so they handle everything, and I kind of work for them in their jobs, and they do a great job.
I like to say we don't have people problems, we have process problems. And if our people aren't performing, it's probably a result of our process. So take me through a couple of ideas that you have with systems before we jump into social media. What are some of the systems that you feel are critical to a business that wants to be a high volume,
well, I think
wants to have high production?
It's really important to do high volume, and you do have to have a system in place. My husband was an engineer from a Lincoln Electric company, so he brought systems where I'm a people person, so you need the both. So we started with this DISC, and I think it's very important, the DISC system, and we are going to be giving this away at the end. We have a special fun little test that we give anybody new to our business. We don't hire anybody unless they take this test. And so it's important, like our admin managers, they're all either C's or S's. So C's are analytical people, and they really get the job done. So it's good. People always say to me, what type of people should you have in admin? And it definitely has to be C, and then maybe a client care manager can have some S because she can be nurturing with the people. As our partners, they can list and sell, we usually are doing better with D's and I's in that situation. So we not only, as you see on the screen, have the test, but then everything we do, we don't even hand in a listing unless we identify who the seller, if they're a D or an I or whatever their personality types are. Because remember, again, we're usually carrying 150 to 200 listings, and I personally can't contact these people. So we have our client care manager, and she's able to see right away how to talk to them. You know, if they're an S, then she's got to slow up, talk slower. So it's important when you have a large team like this that you're communicating, because again, when I list a home, they probably might not hear from me until we get a sale. But our client care manager always says, you know, she brings me back in the loop and said, you know, Judy wants me to call you, but then she looks at the personality type right away to know how she should talk. And also, too, another thing, it's kind of fun, when we're hiring these people, you need farm animals are your admin people, because they're great, supportive people. They're loyal. They like to be petted. They like to be fed. It's a different kind of an animal. But then for our partners that list and sell, they need to be jungle animals. I mean, they don't have to. They just run out and kill something and bring it back. They don't have to be fed and watered and that kind of stuff. So it's kind of important when you're hiring somebody, you hire jungle animals to go out in the trenches and kill, and then hire the farm animals to be your admin people.
That's a great way of looking at it. One of the things you said that I think is brilliant is that you said that on every single file, you identify what the client is, so anybody on the team that picks up that file knows how to interact with them. It's such a simple thing, but it's just absolutely brilliant.
We're going to be giving that sheet out at the end of the seminar today, too, or the webinar. We're going to be giving that sheet. It's really important because we gave a lot of thought to this. So we actually asked, you know, we want to do that DISC for each person, and why are they moving? Because let's say it's a divorce situation where you wouldn't want our client care managers to say like, "Oh, I'm so excited that you're selling your house," and these people are, you know, depressed. So it's important
right.
when you when you have a team that you know, they know how to talk to the people.
So jumping into social media for just a second, what you said to me, I laughed when I wrote it down. I left it in here exactly as you said. He says, well, I think I'm addicted to Facebook because I'm addicted to people.
You know, Bill, it's funny because I was embarrassed to tell people that I was addicted to Facebook. I mean, we talk about Facebook. I say, yeah, now and then I go on it, but I'm on it like 2 hours. I cannot wait to get up in the morning. At 6 o'clock in the morning, I get my coffee, and I'm on Facebook from 6 to 8. But I never wanted to admit that. And then one time I said, wait a minute, I'm proud because I'm just addicted to people. I mean, I really love to know what's happening with people. And I also comment on everything. So if I'm looking on Facebook and somebody's daughter just graduated from high school or whatever it is, I always comment, congratulations. I remember her when she was in 7th grade. Or I have a lot of little happy faces and things I put on because I really do care, and I want them to know that I care. And also, it's helped me a lot in my business because when you've been in business 37 years in the same area, I'm kind of like a star, but people don't know I'm real. So now they see me, you know, they see me and they say, this is a real person. You know, they can connect with me now because I'll share with them things that I'm with my family or my grandchildren, or there might be somebody who'll put their grandchildren in kindergarten, and I'll say, oh my goodness, I have a grandchild in kindergarten. So it allows you to become real to people, and also it really attracts people to the Crockett team. So I've been really, when I look at the sales I've gotten every year, and I tell my team this because we used to think Facebook was kind of just a cute social thing, but I probably can have at least 5 sales this past year that have come just from Facebook, where somebody maybe like, I have one person I graduated from high school with a long time ago, like 55 years ago, and he caught up with me on Facebook, and he not only listed his home here for like $350,000, but then I had to refer him out to a realtor in Michigan for $550,000, and it was just because we reconnected on Facebook. So it's very, very important to us.
You know, Judy, I think a lot of people wonder, do I do a business page? Do I connect with people personally? Do I have to do both? What's your philosophy on that?
Okay, I think you have to do both, because on both I put a lot of family things on. So in my personal pages, I just love to share from my heart in my personal page. But my business page I think is important because we are attracting good realtors to our team all the time. There probably isn't 2 weeks that doesn't go by that somebody calls us to want to join our team. And I asked them, I'm so proud that you want to join the Crockett team. Can I ask you why? And they said, well, I've been following you and your Crockett Team Facebook page, and all your meetings look like fun. I love the success stories that your realtors are having. I love the success stories, the interviews that you're doing from testimonials. Your team's having fun. We award our team the shopping sprees, and we take pictures of the shopping sprees, and we give away money at our meetings, and we show all that so people are thinking, gee, if I'm going to be in the business, why not to go to a realtor team that is getting great success? So we no longer have to recruit anymore. We're just attracting people. So I think it's important to have both pages. And I think, again, we don't really post a lot of like new listings and things on my personal page, but on our business page, we put new listings, and we show like a new kitchen, and we have videos on ours. We introduce our client care manager, with a video. We do testimonial videos, but this is all on the business page.
Interesting. So let's talk about some of the quantifying results. You mentioned that you have people from high school, you've generated listings and sales from Facebook, other things that you notice are happening as a result of Facebook. And once again, you mentioned your S's and C's. Talk to me about that.
Well, that's important. You need to know who your audience is. Like, for instance, in Cleveland, well, we're all depressed now because the Cleveland Browns lost on Sunday. Because in Cleveland, it's all the Cleveland Browns. It's Drew Carey. Whoever watched the Drew Carey show, this is Cleveland. We're blue collar workers. We're all American flags, apple pie. But you need to know who your audience is. You don't, for instance, like I wouldn't share that I just got a new Mercedes on my Facebook. I wouldn't share about like I'm #1 or whatever. We talk about family, supporting, family values, grandchildren, all that type of stuff. So know who your audience is. I was just out visiting Joseph Brazen in Seattle, Washington. Now his audience is different. It's all the Microsoft people. So he's going to be going everything to the D and I personalities. But in my area, it's all about them. It's not about me. So what I found out with Facebook, it's really helped me because, for instance, like I have a dog, Guinness, and he just had to have a pacemaker put in. So I put on Facebook about it. Well, I think I had like 1,000 hits about people are saying prayers for my dog, Guinness, and whatever. I went to the other day for lunch at yours truly, a local restaurant. People are coming up to me and just to my table and saying, oh, how's Guinness feeling? And I'm thinking, I don't even know these people, but somehow somebody saw it on Facebook and shared it with them. So now they know I'm real, and they're even coming up to me and saying, I like to know you better. I didn't know that you were a real person, and things happen to you too. And then we shared our 50th wedding anniversary, and we put pictures on it. We put when we were married in 1963, and then we put pictures of the grandkids. And gosh, that I think got over 1,000 hits, where people connected and they would share pictures of their wedding and things like that. So it's a real important, again, to connect with the people in your neighborhood, but for them I would give some suggestions. If anybody's been in the real estate market, maybe even longer than 15 years, get real. Let people know that about you more. They want to know and they want to connect with you. And people like to work with same like people, So if you're an animal lover, I've got more people coming up to me now with their animals or their grandchildren, whatever. But people like to work with like people, and what a better place to put it on is Facebook.
That is so true. It's funny. I'll come up with some brilliant real estate advice, and I'll post it on Facebook, and my 4 friends will like it. But if I post something that I went to the Taylor Swift concert with my 13-year-old daughter, hundreds of people pipe in and say greatest dad ever. They really do want to connect with you on a personal level.
Well, Burl, I have to agree with you on that because I saw that Facebook post, and I'm thinking, Burl Workman, this big, important person. He probably doesn't even have kids. What's his life like? All of a sudden, I saw that, too. I thought, oh, my God, he's real. He likes Taylor Swift. He's real.
Oh, I only took my daughter so I didn't look like a weird guy at Taylor Swift by myself.
No, I'm telling you, I've been in business 37 years, and I'm enjoying it more than ever. I think you said something in the beginning, but it's fun now. This business is fun. I love it.
Yeah. So let's talk some more about what people like to see. Give me some examples. Here's your dog you were talking about, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. We actually, in fact, I'm looking at this site now. I'm laughing because we actually had to go down to Columbus. It's about 2.5, 3 hour ride down to Ohio State Hospital to take Guinness in, and this was something new to me because I've never had a dog that needed a pacemaker before, and we came in. It was like Cleveland Clinic in Ohio State. I mean, there had to be 50 dogs in there, and meeting all the hospital people and stuff, and $3,700 later, he had his pacemaker. But I mean, but people relate to that. So if you're going to be on Facebook, you have to share these things with people. And even like now, you're posting. This is when we had our 50th wedding anniversary. A picture of my family, Melissa and Todd and David and I, and people love that to share that that you're real again, and you've been married 50 years, and family values, and and I told my team too. You need to share things, and if you want to be really private, then you're in the wrong business. Get out and do something different. But in our business, you have to be open your heart to people.
Absolutely true. So we have all these different social media channels, and you made a big deal about utilizing video in your team. Talk to me a little bit about how you use video and what resources you use to make it stand out.
Well, we like to use BombBomb a lot because we don't like to have people go to YouTube because then they get lost. All of a sudden they go to YouTube and they see something maybe more interesting than, I don't know, it could be more interesting than the Crockett team, but they see something that might be Taylor Swift and we lose them to Taylor Swift. Well, this way, they BombBomb, they stay right in with us. It's a wonderful, I love it. And what we do is like Nicole, our escrow, Nicole, our client care manager, she introduces herself right away. Because remember, again, if we're carrying 150 to 200 listings, they need to see who they're going to be working with. So Nicole's beautiful and bubbly, and she introduces herself and says, from now on, I'm your client care manager, and I'm just here to make you feel special, and I'm here from 8:30 in the morning to 5 o'clock at night. Give me a call. So they go, oh, wow, we're going to enjoy working with her. And then she talks about the free moving truck we have and things like that. So I think people now, I used to get people wondering, what happened to you, Judy? Like, once you listed your home, we never hear from you again. But I don't hear that anymore because my team takes over. They're experts. But when Nicole introduces herself, her picture talks about her, they feel comfortable calling Nicole. And then when Debbie Connor, our escrow manager, says, congratulations, your house is sold, now you talk with Debbie, and she tells you the checklist of when you have to turn your utilities off, whatever happens. But now I never get any complaints that they don't hear from me any longer, and people are serviced well. In fact, they're doing a much better job than I can. And so videos are wonderful, and I think all of us feel better, too. If I'm even when we were at my husband, we were at Cleveland Clinic, and the doctor videoed and told me, like, I'm Dr. whatever, and I'm a Cleveland Clinic, and this. Well, I felt more comfortable now when I met with him. It's like, oh, I know who you are. So I think it's really important to connect with people. And then right now on our screen, this is a great video. It's Tina just saying, congratulations, you just bought a house. And she's talking to people about how it's going to be painless and ask for referrals. So I think if people are not using videos, they're doing a disservice to themselves because people are connecting with people that they feel that they know better. And again, if you're a rainmaker like I am, and you're very busy, and you're selling 427 houses, and you've got 150 listings, you have to have a good team of people that can that come up to the plate and be able to handle all these things. So I think by the videos, I honestly don't get any complaints anymore at all that I don't keep in touch because my team does it for me, and it's wonderful.
I love that. And by the way, I think both of your gals are engaging. Just their pictures, I can just tell that they're fun people.
I know. I love them. They are fun.
Nicole looks someone like you want to hang out with. She just looks like a cool lady.
She is. She is really cool. In fact, I told her, I said, after this video, if anybody calls to hire Nicole to work for us, she's not allowed to leave us. She's got to stay with the Crockett team in Cleveland, Ohio. So.
She's staying in Cleveland with you. I'm sure that the culture's still great. All right, so talk to me about lead generation and how you keep 12 buyers agents busy. I mean, you've got 12 agents that are all so busy on your team. How do you keep everybody cranking?
That's another important thing. People always ask me, all over the United States, like, oh, we want to get more team people. We want to hire a bit more people on the team. You have to be able to keep them wealthy and healthy, or they're going to leave you. I mean, so all of our team members, most of them do anywhere from $8 to $10 million each individual one, and they're making a great living. But if you don't have enough business, you're never going to keep them. So the important thing is to list. And also, we have a buyer search site, which is Boomtown, and I love Boomtown. Great guys from Charleston, South Carolina, and when you have your domain name, you want to make sure there's a name that's not your ego driven. So we couldn't use like the Crockett team, the wonderful Crockett. I mean, people don't care about the Crockett team if they're moving from Chicago or LA. They have never even heard of us. So we used a stealth site name, which is clevelandhomefinder.com. So if you are in Google and you're checking like Cleveland, I might be moving to Cleveland, we usually always come out on the first page in Google. So that's really, really important when you do a buyer search site to have a great name that's attracting people. And be honest with you too, this is all just a traffic that we're getting without even paying pay-per-click. So I'm really happy about that. It's a great site. They're great to work with. Like I think you mentioned the other site that 75% of our leads have come from Cleveland Home Finder. It's my husband. I think David said he saw you, Burl, at the convention in Charleston. But it's I don't know what we do without it. That's what a great site. It's expensive, so people ask me about it. I mean, I don't remember what we pay for, but it is costly. But it's a wonderful site, and we keep like 12 buyer specialists or partners, and we actually have 4 more people or 2 more right now taking their training to join us. But they all can make a good living just because of our the sites that we have.
That's great. These are just some examples of how the system works. You know, following up, seeing what they're doing, automated emails. It makes it very easy to stay in touch with the leads that are being generated.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. I cannot say enough about it.
So if I were to ask you, what are the things that really allowed your business to grow? Just kind of give me a few bullet points.
I think, again, I remember being in this business by myself, and of course I loved it, as you can tell, but I was burning out. And I remember driving home from one appointment at night, and I was teary-eyed and thinking, when am I going to retire? I don't like this anymore. But now with systems in place and delegating, I'm going to be working until I'm 103. I'm enjoying this business so much. So I think it's systems and also being consistent with systems. It's not like one day you do a system, but we're very consistent with our systems. Delegating, I delegate everything I can because, believe it or not, they can do a better job than I can. So that helps me an awful lot. Team meetings. We have team meetings every Friday, always. I mean, even if we're out of town, another team player will come up and hold the meeting. We always have a team meeting. They start at 9:30 promptly, and we have full participation. Everybody. So it's important that when you do have a team, everybody's on the same page and knows what's going on. So I think that's really important. And we treat our team well. I mean, we have fun, like I say, lunches, shopping sprees, spa days, and we just really have a good time. Because I want a life.
You have a great life, and I love watching you live it with your husband. I think it's so fun. Matter of fact, it was really strange to see him and not see you next to him at Boomtown.
I know. I kind of laugh because we're always together. This is the first, I think, in 52 years is the first time we celebrated. But I wanted to go to the Howard Hanna convention because it was great, and I wanted to hear all the good speakers. That's where I bumped into Terri Murphy again. And then David was so into Boomtown, so we separated for the first time. Weird, but helpful.
So how long, as a real estate agent, should you be in this business before you get an assistant and start to delegate?
I probably would say immediately if you could, because you're not going to grow. People say to me, Judy, I wish I could afford to do what you do. And I think to myself, well, you can't afford not to do what I do. I mean, every time you hire somebody, you usually get $40,000 more in profit in your own business. So we're going to keep growing and growing. I don't know how big. Maybe the next webinar will have double. I mean, we'll keep growing. And if you're doing everything right, you get more business. And that's when you need another partner, selling and listing, because if you're doing things right, you will get referrals, and you can only do so much. And I want everyone to be handled, wonderfully, because I want repeat business. So I think that I never expected in the beginning in 1978 that our business would grow like this. Never. I just thought I'd be just Judy Crockett and then a couple family members. But the more you do things right, you get more business. And I think, we do share a lot with everybody that we work with around the United States. And just like what you said, Burl, you started laughing when I said this to you, but it just, no one wants to work so hard, so no one really ever wants to what did I forgot quite how I put it to you, but
I put it on a slide.
Yeah, you did.
People copy everything.
Yes, but hard work, that's true, isn't it? People do copy everything but hard work. But anybody I would say in the business to get especially maybe to get an admin person to help them, because we have to be out in the streets. If you're going to be selling and listing real estate, we have to be out there meeting people, but you still need somebody at the office to handle the paperwork, which usually salespeople aren't the best people doing paperwork.
So just unbelievable content and ideas. Let me ask you a few questions. There's literally hundreds of people on the webinar today, and the questions are blowing up. First of all, let me say to everybody that I have Judy on audio, and I'm able to hear everything really clear. So those of you who are having audio problems, it's probably internal, that you're listening on your computer instead of calling in on the phone or listening on a headset. I'm able to hear everything she's saying, so I apologize if you're not having great audio, but it is working, and it's working clearly on my end. Now, Judy, let me ask you just a couple questions. One is, what contact management system do you use? What do you use for CRM?
We use Top Producer, but actually we're coming over now to do Boomtown, because Boomtown is starting their own, so we're going to be less and less using. We don't want we don't want two different systems, so we're probably going to be switching from Top Producer to Boomtown.
Okay, so Top Producer for years, a lot of people use that. Another question is, when you hire agents for your team, do you prefer to hire experienced agents, or do you want them new so you can train them the way you like to do business? We
want them new. We've tried to hire what we call charred realtors. They're not quite burned out yet, but they're kind of getting burned out. And they don't have the team concept. You have to have somebody that has the team concept, so we'd rather get someone fresh and teach them our systems in place. They appreciate everything more, so we're having better luck with newer agents.
Okay, perfect. I love that. I'm just kind of looking through the questions here. Do you do anything with optimizing your posts? Do you boost your posts on Facebook?
Yes, we do. In fact, I'm glad you brought that up. I like boosting the posts because it's really, really expensive to do. And like I just listed a home in the Hunt Club where I live. It's a golf course community. So I could go and boost it. I could go up, and it's so easy to do. If I can do it, anyone can do it. But I just put people who like golf and I put in a certain age group, and also where they live. And so it's really helped a lot. And I've had people now inquiring about the house I have in the Hunt Club, because you might as well boost to specific people who would want that house. So we have one for investors, but this has been a great one for golf. So I always use on Facebook. Again, I think I spent, what I did is $10 a day just for 5 days. So $50, and I think I had 3,500 hits on the golf house in Quail Hollow just because of using that boost. And also, I think something else you wanted to ask me before about maybe Pinterest. I don't know if that's another slide coming up, whatever. But I didn't really believe in, am I jumping ahead?
Yeah, go ahead. We're going to wrap up with that one.
Okay, good. Well, I wasn't into Pinterest myself because I'm such a Facebook fanatic. But my social media manager, we hired Jennifer. She's not a realtor, and I like that because I want her to think as a client, not as a realtor. Because I'm thinking to myself, who cares if the Crockett team's on Pinterest? But last year she put a post on having a Super Bowl platter, and she put this on Pinterest. And she told me about it, and I'm kind of laughing to myself, thinking, okay, well, it had so many hits. I mean, unbelievable that everybody wanted to know about the Super Bowl platter to serve on Super Bowl Sunday. People are stopping me in the grocery store. I love that post. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I would have never thought of doing that. But sometimes when you're thinking of things like, especially Pinterest, don't think like a realtor thinks. That's not your client. Think of, she did a Halloween post, and people are asking about these Halloween pumpkins or whatever, but you almost sometimes should hire somebody that's not a realtor, and so they think out of the box, and it just connected more, so I kind of chuckled about that. And that's another thing we do is Pinterest, but so I wanted to share that with you.
One of the things I think was really interesting at the beginning of your session today, you quoted Howard and you said, get out of judgment and get into curiosity. And if people are really listening to what you said on this webinar today, and instead of looking for, you know, things that they may have thought they were getting or didn't get, I promise you there's a lot of value here. Judy, you talked about understanding disc profiles of your clients and knowing the disc profiles of people on social media as well, and catering your post to appeal to different personality types. I think that simple piece of brilliance is what a lot of people miss, is they do the golden rule, they do unto others as they prefer to have them done unto them. That alienates the other three personality types. You got to take yourself out of the equation. And I think you did a great job explaining that. Posting and using Pinterest, Facebook, and YouTube were all critical to your business. And I really appreciate all of your thoughts. You shared with us lead generation systems and processes and things that you're doing. Just for lack of time, will you stay on with us? If we have time at the end, I'm going to open up some more questions.
I'm an educational junkie.
and a Facebook addict.
Right, you got it. I love it. Now I'm proud of it.
Well, I'm going to introduce our mutual friend, Terri Murphy. And Terri Murphy has been one of my friends in real estate for almost 20 years now. I remember the first time I saw Terri Murphy speak as a new speaker, I thought, crap, I have to go next? How can I ever get to that level? Because she was so polished and so funny. And she said my favorite line that I'll never be able to pull off when she said, if you're going to be a bag lady, make sure it's a Gucci. And that just cracked me up, and I've always remembered that one-liner for Terri. Terry's a real life agent who's actually walked her talk. She's actually gone out there and she's been in the trenches just like you. She was selling 100 houses a year and did it over 20 years in a row, you know, listing over 100 houses a year when interest rates were at 27%. And so this is a gal who's not afraid to get out there and mix it up. She's authored 6 different books, including, you know, her latest one with Donald Trump, Best Real Estate Advice I've Ever Received, which is actually a really good read. And I don't mean that actually. I knew it'd be good because Terri was involved in it, because Donald's involved in it. It's even a more fun and interesting read because of the two of them collaborating on that. Terri co-hosts radio shows. She is involved with women in business. She's a true giver in the real estate space. She helps mortgage companies, title companies, real estate companies, all with their social strategy. She's truly an expert on social media, which I go to Terri often and say, Terri, what do you think about this, and how can you help me with this? And she's constantly helping us. She's one of our coaches at Workman Success Systems. She's a phenomenal speaker, and she's here today to help us really stay connected and just to flat out make more money with social media. So Terri, welcome.
Hey, thanks for that great introduction. I just, I'd like to be that girl. But, and Judy and I go way back. We started in the same year. So we were Howard Stars studying each other. But what's interesting to me is that our market, hasn't it changed, Judy? It used to be a lot simpler. And now, it's crowded, it's noisy, it's distracting, and we've got lots of competition we didn't have. And the average person only has an attention span of 7 seconds. A goldfish beats us at 8. So how do we really have that relevance that we need? And you hit it so beautifully, Judy, when you talked about know your audience. And here's what I found out through our research. There's really 3 factors that affect us, and this is so important for us to understand, because it's not just about blowing out there with content, it's not just about posting, it's really about these 3 factors. It starts with attention, and that attention is tied to relevance. So, you can have a great big, you drive past car lots and they've got those crazy, big blow up things moving around, get your attention, but it isn't really relevant unless you want to buy a car. And then it has to have value, but the value is really strongly tied to timing. So it's like if I took you out for dinner and we had this great big dinner with dessert and everything, and then I said, come on, let's go to dinner. There's no value at that time. And one of the greatest things about the boom towns and the constant contacts and the Infusionsofts is now that we understand that the priority can change at any time, and it's based on the timing, and that's when it becomes valuable. And then the last part of getting attention and positioning yourself using these great tools is influence. You can't, you've got to have some kind of social proof. So that's your credibility, and then what we call celebrity authority, which is when somebody says, why should I pay with my attention to you? And so when you have these 3 focus points as you go forward, and this is what I learned from some of the top people we're going to profile today, you really have to boost your marketing to be very hyper local. Hyper local. It's more important for me to know what's going on in my little town in Cleveland than it is for me to find out what's going on in New Guinea. And tools like Boomtown answer that timing issue, because people are 8 weeks to 3 years, and Virl, you have some great students who do that. So you've got to go out there with a plan. You've got to know your audience, which both Judy and Lori Ballin have talked about. And then the next part of that is, and where do they hang out? Because one of the questions we really get is, so do I have to be on everything? I'm really not a Pinterest person. Well, that's like saying, do I have to drive on all the streets? You figure out where you want to wind up. So there's some premises that are really important. And one area that most realtors don't really maximize is LinkedIn, and it matters for a lot of reasons. It's the number 3 social network. 64% of referrals come to those websites. You get to connect with other people, and you get found for referrals. And in the old days, you had to be part of a group to get referrals, but if I see that you've got 27 recommendations in Cleveland, and I've got a buyer going to Cleveland, I want to hook up with you. So, one of the people who did that the best was Jack Cotton. And I love Jack. He's part of the Star Power Network as well. He's an expert at luxury homes in Cape Cod. And when you study Jack on LinkedIn, you immediately understand his celebrity authority, that he really got was really hunkered down and got great expertise in that area. So don't miss being on LinkedIn and sharing your participation in real estate groups. There's some great real estate groups, and again, you've got to block your calendar. We'll talk about that coming up here, but really don't miss your opportunities on LinkedIn. And by the way, take a picture like Jack, no background, unless you're selling dogs, no dogs or no boats. Doesn't need to be your golf picture, cutting out an ex-husband. You've got to go with the tenets of what looks professional, and Jack has upgraded. He's one of our great role models for social media presence. And so, Judy, you just did a great job about talking about why Facebook matters. And here's what's so interesting about Facebook. Remember we said go where the people are? Well, only 1.49 billion active users on Facebook. 4.5 billion likes are generated daily, and that was as May of 2013, so you can only imagine what's happening today. And there are 1.31 billion mobile active users. We are addicted to staying connected, and what, like Judy said, you could get to be connected with people that you would ordinarily not be able to connect with because of this beautiful connection. And it doesn't have to just be about real estate. I think, Judy, you did a great job of talking about how you mix the personal and the business. Well, the queen of all things, Facebook, is a wonderful lady who, by the way, I noticed on social media. Lori actually hails from Las Vegas. She is the digital marketing strategist, one of the top people in the country, training other companies. And I happened to notice in a Facebook post that she was on her way to Memphis. She was in Memphis the same time I was, and so we were able to talk to each other. And I wanted to profile her because she has done a tremendous job of maximizing both personal and business pages on Facebook. And she says you've got to monitor it. This is her personal page. It still positions her. That little left-hand corner is actually a video where she talks to you. She knows that she can only have a limited amount of people on her Facebook personal page, so she does leverage her business page. And the business page is where she puts a little bit more about her listings, but she doesn't say brand new listings. She really engages the person by talking about real resources. And she says you just don't put up anything. You put up whatever is specific to your area. And she also talks about engaging those people who have interest, a targeted interest in a given area. So you were just right on, Judy, when you talked about the golf being a major anchor for that particular listing. So instead of just saying see my listing or open house, you switch it so there's some benefit, and your verbiage is very important about who you're attracting, which generation it should resonate with. And in this case, help us pick your new neighbor, stop by and meet the new family at. But she does have a whole resource of information that she posts, and she does it, and write this down, with consistency. And then one of my other superheroes is Craig Northrup, and he is amazing because I have watched him now for many years, and he's really uses his Facebook page pretty much as a community supporter. And you notice he had does a lot of work with John Hopkins and the Children's Center. He does a whole thing for Halloween. He had 7,739 people like a post. I mean, that is an enormous percentage. And if you page down, you'll notice that he, on his Facebook, he includes a lot of engagement strategies. And we talked about, Judy, when you talked about seeing the video of a person so you feel like you know them, notice that his Facebook has like 4,200 views. On one particular one, he talks about your life, where they live, and he shows his family. So it is about revealing a certain amount of your personal side, but not everything, but keeping the integrity and the professionalism that you are a person who happens to be a real estate professional, and only you can know how to serve your area. And one of the key really beautiful activities that he can do on Facebook is he also posts events, and they don't have to just be his. They could be local events, community events, church events, and so people go there to find out what's going on. And he has it, and it also circles back, of course, to his website. So you have to have what we will show you is an editorial and marketing plan, and it's not that hard, but we can't leave without talking about Twitter. And a lot of people don't understand how to use Twitter. Well, one of the latest innovations on Twitter is to take that same information and put it on Twitter, which is really pretty much a news feed. But Periscope is the ability to add a short video. And I want to tell you in real life how this works, because you're saying, oh my God, I just tried to figure out, what Twitter was. So there's a couple. Go ahead.
Terri, it's kind of funny because several questions have come in during the presentation today. What do y'all think of Periscope? So it's intuitive that you're going there right now.
Well, I'm old, but I got to keep up with what's going on. But I had the pleasure of talking to Michael Creasa, who's that interview guy, and he hooked me up with this couple. So he's a realtor holding an open house in a very small but exclusive area in Canada. And the house was on open house, and he had some people that were driving up from the U.S. to that particular area, wanted specifically to see that area. He took out his phone, made an appointment so they could stop at 4 o'clock, walked him through the area on Periscope, showed him the house, made the sale contingent on them signing it and a final inspection. Sold a $1 million house using Twitter. So what I'm saying, does it work? Say yes, because this is living proof. So
Absolutely.
the other great engagement, of course, is YouTube, and every person on this call should have their own channel. And the reason is because a channel lets me know as a prospect that you got it going on, that you have your own ABC, NBC, or CBS. And there's billions of videos are viewed globally every single day, 80% outside of the U.S., 76% in 76 different languages, and up to 50% are done on mobile. And here's Jack Cotton. Jack has, if you'll notice, he has different channels, so that if somebody's searching, it's much easier, it's much more organized. But he dominates at his celebrity authority as being an expert for both buyers, sellers, and other agents. So if you want a good role model, look at Jack. And of course, I also checked out Judy and a couple of others. But it's a great way to show that you know what you're talking about. And notice on one, he got 6,400 views. Shockingly easy tips to sell luxury real estate. It's a niche, and he's just real authentic and real there. I'm proud of knowing Jack. And of course, we can't go over it in just a few minutes, Virl, but when you go to the next frame, there's Bomb, which I'm a big fan of, and I'm so glad to hear that Judy uses it. I'm glad that she understands the power of that. And of course, Skype and Pinterest. I mean, you've got to find out where your people are. And, a radio has come back, and so have podcasts. And blogs and videos are vlogs, and so you can tie all of that in with relevance. And Cleve Gaddis, one of our coaches, does a wonderful job of a radio show. And I said to him, so Cleve, what's been your return on investment? And he said, well, it's not that simple. He said, but based on, he can't tie it to an exact commission, but because of the direct calls from radio. But he said they cover about 30% of the show from commissions earned, then another 50% from sponsors, but he gets tons of appointments with sellers because an expert who's on the radio. So he thinks his return is probably around 300%. Now, radio is great. You don't have to have a good hair day. You do have to have a plan, and you do have to interview other people. But just think about guesting on a radio show, a local radio show. They're always looking for real estate professionals. And then, of course, how do you do all this? I can see everybody rolling their eyes now going, but I don't have time. Well, you have a car. You don't want to walk people from house to house. It's another tool here. You schedule a plan, and you take a plain old calendar, and you lay it out, and you say, well, what's happening in the month of November? Well, we know it's Thanksgiving, and we know it's Veterans Day. And then you figure out what are your events, and then what are you going to post about it? Is there something happening at your local VFW? Is there a food drive going on in your community? Get local. James Nellis Group does that beautifully about highlighting local people, and that's the Nellis team out in West Virginia, another star power and leader in the industry. So, include offline information with online events, and be hyper-local. And this is your key, kids. Use the channels and give the information that is hyper-local. In other words, what's happening in my town, and it's relevant to your target community, and engage that conversation, because it's not about followers, it's about engagement, and that raises your clout score, raises your influence, and that's how people are going to figure out if they want to use you as their important resource for real estate. So I bet we got a couple of questions.
Yeah, there's a ton of questions, but let me ask you a couple that just kind of came up as you were going through the presentation. When you jumped into LinkedIn, one of the things I noticed that Jack Cotton said on his LinkedIn profile, it said premium. He's spending money to get more customization of his LinkedIn. Tell me more about the difference between the free LinkedIn thing and what you would get with premium.
Well, the premium, they've got lots of specials, but the premium gives you direct opportunities to engage with people where the free one doesn't. I would say to everybody, start with free, learn how to use it a little bit. There's Kurt Shaver does a great job of the Sales Foundry of giving you some video tours on what you can do on LinkedIn, but it's worth the investment. If you're going to make sure that on a consistent basis, Verl, that you check it at least every other week. The biggest problem we have is people don't respond. People, reach out to them on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter, and people don't respond. You got to respond, kids.
Yeah, and I appreciate the fact that you think we're all kids. Because I feel like I'm a kid when I'm around you, like a kid in a candy store, and you just keep throwing up all these great treats. It's fun to listen to you, Terri. For both Judy and Terri, and I'll ask both of you the same question. For a new agent starting out, when you look at this big social media picture, I got to do something, but I can't do it all. What should I start with? Terri, why don't you answer that first, and we'll ask Judy.
Well, I'm going to approach it as a business. I love Facebook because that's where your friends are, but I want to get on LinkedIn. I want to have my professionalism up there. I want to reach out to people I already know, let them know I'm in real estate. Much easier than just calling everybody. Find out how you can hook up with people who already know you, and then, of course, always have a Facebook page.
So Facebook is where you start. Yeah.
Yep.
I agree with Terri, like in LinkedIn, because I do think as soon as we hire an agent, we have them put their resume on LinkedIn, because really when somebody's hiring us to list their house, it's a job interview. So it's no different than a job interview. So we automatically always put our testimony, our
endorsements
resume,
and your recommendations.
Resume, on LinkedIn. But I would still think I would go to a Facebook, but I think I would talk about community events like Terri had mentioned, because I really love when Terri keeps talking about hyper-local. And in my area, if you put down events like when the hayride's going to be and what night Halloween's going to be, so I think if she would kind of if any new realtor would make yourself an expert in the area, you're an expert in a certain location, but talk about the local events.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what everybody's interested in.
But I'm glad you mentioned LinkedIn too, because I do LinkedIn, especially again for the business part. I think it's important, and again, definitely putting that resume on LinkedIn.
Well, yeah, and if they don't know your email address, they can contact you through LinkedIn, or they can find somebody that knows you. So it's a great networking resource.
All very, very good. Another question that came up from several people. Let me look. Sorry, I drew a blank on it. I had it all ready to go. One question asked you, Judy, what your video program is. Do you use just BombBomb, or is there another tool?
We just use BombBomb. We've been really happy with them, so we just use BombBomb.
What are you using to generate listing leads, to generate all of the listings that you guys are taking as a team? And Terri, I'll ask you the same thing. Is there any tool or social media process that is helping you generate more listings?
You know, I'd probably say, again, just success. When people look at us and see how quickly we sold a house. So we always, you know, just sold a home in 7 days, just sold a home. And I think, we don't send out just listing postcards. We just send just sold postcards out, because people are only going to list with people who are successful. So we always just do success. You know, we sold another house. On Facebook, again, on our business page, you know, we sold another house, sold 3 homes in a certain community. So I think constantly saying sold, sold, sold. We put a sold sign up immediately on the house to get that results. And again, the sold postcards. And so that's why we're getting listings. And it's so important, again, list, 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 list. You have to list to live.
Oh, I love listings. I didn't like buyers at all. As a matter of fact, I didn't even want them in my car. I'd make them run behind till they were tired. No, I love listing. And, you know, Verl, I want to tell you something. I am a strong believer. If you're on this call and you think you can only do social media, you can't. You know, Judy's already got a real strong brand position in her town, but a lot of my coaching clients, I make them get out there and meet the people. So, and I believe in leveraging strategic partnerships. I have a whole structure that I work with my lender, doing the annual mortgage fitness and identity theft screening in January, doing the HVAC stickers that Rob Levy, another Star Power guy, used, where, you know, you work with your HVAC guys, and in the spring and in the fall you give them a sticker to change their filters. I mean, I think you still need to meet the people, and community events do a great job of that. And if you position yourself as somebody who's championing your local area, whether it's a cleanup or a food drive or a Coats for the Cold or, you know, a pie drive or whatever it is, that gives you high visibility because you're not asking. And the whole piece about being online is to give and not to expect to get until you've earned the right to get. So give first, but give relevant, valuable, targeted, specific, hyperlocal information.
One last question and then a comment from one of our listeners. The question is how do you get people, when you have a lot of friends on your personal Facebook, to become friends or to like your business page? How do you do the transition?
We actually invite them to it. When you're on a business page, you can invite people. So we invite people on our page, and then they like it and they invite somebody else. But in order to begin to, when we started our Facebook business page, we had to get so many hits to even get a business page. So it's just, and I think also by liking other people, people will like you. You know, if you're one of these people that do not participate on Facebook, then you're not going to get people to like your page either. But I put like on other people's page. And then when I asked them to like my Facebook business page, they did it because I do it to them too.
Yeah, and Michael Bjorkman, who was your guest on Riz in April, really goes into that. So if you really want more information on that, go into the archives on YouTube on Riz Media and look up the April interview with Michael.
A lot of phenomenal information. The key takeaways I got from today's webinar, the first one is it doesn't matter what size of business you have, you can participate in social media at some level, whether it's your individual page or doing a business page. The second thing is understand the difference of the different personality types that we're dealing with. Become hyper local from Terri Murphy. Terri, I can't stress how important that is. And you know, being and establishing yourself as a true expert. And that's where RIS Media's Content Solutions comes into play, where you have great content that's relevant to the industry that you're in. If you add that to your personality and you use the channels where your listeners are all participating, you'll be able to generate real business from social media. And I just have to tell both of you how much I appreciate you being here. Thank you for sharing your expertise, your knowledge, and your wisdom with us. And most of all, thanks for being such great friends to the real estate industry and to me personally. Thanks, everybody, for being on the call today. On behalf of RIS Media, RIS Media's Content Solutions, Judy Crockett and Terri Murphy, have an unbelievable rest of the month of October, and let's get our business plans done for 2016 because it's going to be an amazing year in real estate. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Verl.
Thank you.